Hello, everybody. Hope everything's well. And as always, let's jump right into this. Now, this article suggests that our solar system is surrounded by a magnetic tunnel. Now, as you know, Earth is in the center of the universe. So when they say solar system, they really mean universe, but they would be giving too much away. Now, it says here Jennifer West, a research associate at the Dunlap Institute for Astronomy and Astrophysics, is making a scientific case that two bright structures seen on opposite sides of the sky, previously considered to be separate, are actually connected and are made up of rope-like filaments. The connection forms what looks like a tunnel around our solar system. If we were to look up in the sky, says West, we would see this tunnel-like structure in just about every direction we look. That is, if we had eyes that could see radio light. Called the North Polar Spur in the Fan region, astronomers have known about these two structures for decades. West says, but most scientific explanations have focused on them individually. West and her colleagues, by contrast, believe they are the first astronomers to connect them as a unit. Made up of charged particles in a magnetic field, the structures are shaped like long ropes. They are located about 350 light years away from us and are about 1,000 light years long. Now we're going to come back to the article. I just want to talk about this book real quick. I talked about it in my video before you make the transition. Okay. Now it says here, the imperishable stars, Orion, Sirius, and the unwavering stars, pilot and tow the deceased over the district of waters with ropes of iron. Okay. Now, when they talk about these ropes of iron, she's talking about these rope-like magnetic filaments that when you make the transition, you are literally taken back to the place before you were born, which is the place beyond eternity, which you become this being we talked about before that's multidimensional, that can go through all dimensions at once, simultaneously, at will, etc. Okay? And various other abilities that we talked about, and most of you know about. They talk about it in X-Men, other superhero movies, etc. I already mentioned that in previous videos as well. Now, so I gotta skip through here a little bit. It says here, magnetic fields don't exist in isolation. She says they all must connect to each other. So a next step is to better understand how this local magnetic field connects both to the larger scale galactic magnetic field and also to the smaller scale magnetic fields of our sun and earth. Okay? So do you see what I'm saying here? Because we already talked about this. Our reality is being projected from a higher one. Remember, our solar system connects to that of the Sirius solar system. And these magnetic fields that the Earth has, that you have, everybody has, everything has, is connected to that solar system. And it's also connected to these other stars, as you saw in the video I posted, what the real stars look like. As you saw, they were pulsating and they had a magnetic field. You saw how Sirius gave off all the colors, which is the color of your aura. Okay? So you connect to all of these planets and stars because your magnetic field vibrates and connects to that. And as you can see on the larger scale and the micro. All right. Now, what they're trying to do is reset reality. they talk about what they're trying to do right now, the Great Reset. I'm going to put that site in the description as well. I'm going to put everything in the description, of course. Okay, but as you can see, China is trying to make a fake moon. Now, the moon we currently have is fake, it's artificial. I'm going to play a clip shortly talking about that. But this the moon we have now is used for to it's pretty much like a space station, and it's used to observe the reality right now, but its other function is also used to mess with the minds of the public. uh, think of it as a almost like an ancient electromagnetic wave frequency that's being used to manipulate the public. And now it's pretty much out of commission. So they're now trying to create a new moon, okay, to reset reality. All right. Well, let me play this clip real quick for you, getting more in depth into that.
In 1970, after years of research, two Russian scientists, Vazin and Sherbakov, published an article in Sputnik magazine titled, "Is the Moon Creation by Alien Intelligence?" Translated, it theorized that the Moon is an artificial Earth satellite put into orbit around the Earth by some intelligent beings unknown to ourselves. Based on the sheer logic of its perfect size and orientation, they believed the Moon was placed in the Earth's orbit ages ago. And they're not alone. In 2006, after decades of research, two Brits, Knight and Butler, also published their research in a book titled "Who Built the Moon?" They pointed out that the absolute perfectly proportional geometry and the sequencing of integers for every aspect of the Moon was duplicated by no other body in the solar system. They also discussed the huge but ultra-light mass. In the end, they created a very persuasive conclusion, stating, "If higher life only developed on Earth because the Moon is exactly what it is and where it becomes irrational to cling to the idea it's a natural object. They say the more likely possibility is the Moon was brought here into our orbit and is most likely a hollowed-out planetoid."
Okay, so you heard it in the clip. As you know, I'll put that in the link in the description. How the moon is artificial. Okay. And it would make sense as to why you can call people lunatics. Now, China is also going to be making an artificial sun. And it's interesting how all this is happening in China. I'm going to put a video in the description, but I'm not going to play it here right now. It's by Jason Giugiani. I played him in my video, The Breakaway Civilization. Those are the ones running this breakaway civilization. These are the ones showing them how to do this. Okay. He talks about how China is going to be the one to be the police force for these beings who come as the savior or aliens or etc. Okay. Now I want to play a clip by Mishimu Makaku talking about this alien structure they found blocking a sun, which is really just the second sun, our second sun, that's being the energy in that second sun is being manipulated. Okay, we talked about the binary suns, and it is getting serious, so you can go watch that. It's in the beginning of the video. Okay. So without further ado, we'll play this clip.
And this, of course, is right out of science fiction, but here we are staring at it, and we have no logical explanation other than to assume that perhaps, just perhaps, it's made by a civilization a few thousand years more advanced than ours, like the Federation of Planets.
Wait, does that put us back in like Cro-Magnon status?
Well, compared to them, yes. We are what is called a Type 0 civilization. We get our energy from oil and coal. Type 1 would be like Buck Rogers, planetary civilization. This civilization is stellar. They can manipulate the energy of a star if it pans out.
Okay.
Okay, so as you heard, our civilization is pretty much being ran by Type 3 civilization, which is the breakaway civilization, which I talk about in my previous video. And they are orchestrating these events that are happening right now so that they can bring about this new world order with them at the helm. And like I said, if I hadn't already said it before, I find it interesting that this is all happening in China as well. Because Jason Giorgiani pointed out in his video that they were going to be like the guards or the overseers for when these beings start to emerge, which again is going to be a false alien deception. But that's all for now, and thank you for listening, and peace and balance to the ancient ones.